pretty much what started the whole free flight or training was Justin grew up with a lot of birds, and then when we had decided that we wanted to go to bird, we started off with an African gray, and she came clipped. We ended up seeing some training videos.
Today we're at a different location and we're gonna fly all our birds, and behind you guys there's Bubba, and I'm so excited. And also, if you're ever out at this spot, watch for cactus. Bubba. Good job, Bubba!
And we kind of got interested like that, and we obviously knew like these birds that are talking and doing these tricks, they're trained, so we're like, well, how do we, you know, make our African gray do stuff like that?
Came across the free flight videos and started watching y'all's, and like just the videos of how y'all interact like came with us. So like that's the main reason why we came with Bird Tricks. We invested in another one, and within 10-15 minutes we decided no, that's not for us. So honestly, I think y'all's personalities had a lot to do with it, and how we could feel comfortable, and it just worked for us. So that's been
and
it.
we tested it too. Like we bought the family-friendly parrot formula, and we applied it to Stella. So we knew we couldn't free fly Stella yet because she was clipped, but she was showing so much interest in wanting to fly. So Justin really worked with her, and when we started seeing so many results with her, we were like, do we really want to wait a whole year for her to molt? And you know, we already knew how many birds and what breeds of birds we wanted already. And so we just stumbled upon Ocean, our blue and gold, and that was a really big learning curve. But we did it, and we had researched a lot of people. And then because when we did the family friendly, everything worked. Just honestly, I mean, I know probably sounds so cliche, but the permission-based training, like the whole, if your bird doesn't want to do it, it's okay. That made me feel a lot better of like, okay, you don't want to step up for me, then that's fine. I'll come back later, like whatever. When Ocean took her first flight, we both kind of looked at each other and were like, all right, let's do it. And so we made the decision. Yeah, we scheduled the consult with Bird Tricks, Dave, and you know, he's like, we want you to do your research first, and you know, find different trainers, figure out which one, you know, you feel like you're gonna go best with. And we're like, nah man, like we've already done all that. Way before we contacted you, we've done all the research, we've looked into everything. And so it's not just how you train, it's your personalities, because you're mixing so much between the animals and the people, and there's got to be some type of connection there, because if not, then you're not going to be receptive to learning certain things. And then, as Jamie likes to say, however your emotions are is going to affect your bird. So that was something big for us.
Yeah, and as far as why we got in the free flight is, like she said, I've been around my roots my whole life since my first bird was 7, and we didn't know anything about this, and just to be able to give the bird the ability to do what it was born to do is like, why wouldn't you if you could? So that's the main reason for free flight, is just for her health, honestly.
Like the first day, I mean, I know we struggled the first day, but we got back, like, she was just pinning and she was so rosy, and I'm just like, did you have fun? Like, you look like you had so much fun. And I know, like, you can definitely see, I mean, we're not advanced in learning body language, you know, of parents and stuff like that, but it was one of those where you could tell. And so that really made it, you know, to where we're like, this investment was way beyond worth it.
Oh yeah. We've been training her for 2.5 months. Obviously we could afford a little bit more than maybe with some people, so we have the batting cage outdoors, so we invested quite a bit to help maybe boost the training a little bit, but 2.5 months before we actually made the trip out here. I don't know, it's good, it's great.
And I mean, the batting cage, I know it was an investment. Like, him and I went back and forth on it, and I would say definitely, like, if people can stretch it desensitized her to outside. I mean, the first day it was like squirrel, butterfly, dragonfly. You know, we're like, what are you doing? And Dave was like, you're gonna end up most likely having to go back to square one as you were inside when you're outside. And I think that having the batting cage really gave us an advantage to where, even though we were only able to spend a whole week out, 1 week out here, we are to the point to where we are comfortable where we are.
It did make me feel a lot more comfortable, but I've tried not to focus on it as much as just more the training. But it did make me feel like I could push her a little bit further because we know where she's at. So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to depend on, but I definitely recommend having it. But I mean, that also kind of depends on how your bird may flight. If your bird is always really central, maybe no, but I'm definitely going to invest in one for just a safety feature. Not as far as a push feature, but just, you never know.
One big thing that I really liked about having the GPS unit on her was her first flight day. We had already anticipated her taking a long exploratory flight just because of the high energy and stamina that we saw during her training. And when she took her first exploratory flight, the winds had shifted a little bit, and she ended up doing a panic flight because she couldn't maneuver through the winds, because that's something that we don't really have at home. And had we not had that, our walk would have been a lot longer. But I think she ended up flying a total of almost 2 miles the first day, thanks to the winds. But so I really like that she had the GPS on her for that reason. And then obviously, like, as her skills and stuff develop, it's more of just, you know, God forbid anything happens, you know, it's kind of like your survival kit. Something happens, well, you can locate her. And she went at least, I think, like half a mile away the first time. Had we not had the GPS, it would have taken us twice as longer to find her. And it was just really neat because Dave was showing me, like, this is how many feet she is, and, you know, you see the whole aerial view, and it's super, super advanced. Like, I told Justin, when we get home, we are buying a GPS. I mean, not for the sake of, you know, a security blanket, but because we know that has so much stamina. It's more of like a survival kit. Like, God forbid anything happened to her, we'll have that as a fallback.
Our biggest struggle, we kind of agree on, was just trying to stay in sync, because we're two people. So the training has to be fluid with both of us. And there was a couple times where I had a little bit better handling, so Ocean flew to me better, and she would notice, she didn't really notice it, and it was something that Dave kind of helped correct. So I think that was our biggest issue, is just trying to stay the same, trying to do everything the exact same, which is hard.
that we were crazy spending the amount of money that we did for trainers is probably the biggest remarks that we got from our family and friends. But it's just one of those things where like you don't understand it until you actually go through it yourself. But I mean, it's our money, our decision, what we do, and we decided we wanted to give that type of life to our birds. Just like our kids, get to go and do fun things, and we get to go and do fun things. But it's nice because we'll be able to take our birds, and all of our family vacations that we do, we get to go take them, and then if there's good areas that we can fly them, then it's kind of like two birds, one stone. I know it sounds really tacky, but
yeah, I think my biggest skeptic was my mom, because she was the one that worked for the breeder back in the late 80s and early 90s. So she had flown off birds before that have gotten out that didn't have the training. Luckily, they got them all back, but she was my biggest skeptic. But now that she's seen what's happening, and we actually sent her that little tiny video, and she's like so amazed. So
yeah,
it's like somebody that goes through what they've done through their life, and then to see this is just, it's cool to see how everybody can change their opinions on it.
And I mean, our kids love it.
Our kids
so
love
much
the birds, they
that
just don't know how to settle down.
So
now we got to go focus back on the training of the kids.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, it was a lot of pressure, because Justin and I are having to learn something. Not only are we having to learn something new that we both don't know, but we also, we have that pressure, and then we have the pressure of trying to be in sync with each other, and then we have our boys in the background.
How about you go on that one and see if she'll oh, that was nice. And go into your hair and see if she'll do that.
Are you talking about like me and Neil on the floor?
Yeah.
No.
Or just sit down and see if she'll make it. Need to run for it and see if she'll make it.
So we're doing that well inside. Why are you not coming to the outside?
Just go. No, just go.
You want to start at a shorter distance?
Can.
Meet me at that pole.
Go, Karen. Don't stand right there.
Yeah, please.
He's not used to people being around.
Can you guys please go find somewhere else to play? Thanks. 5, 4, 3. So it was really challenging. There were a lot of therapy sessions.
There was, but actually I think those distractions helped us out here to deal with the distractions and kind of keep those off to the side while you're paying attention. So I think it balanced out all in the end.
Definitely. We have been more in sync since we've been here. Like I told him, I was like, we haven't argued. Like when you start to say something, I finish your sentence. I'm like, what the hell happened to us? We couldn't sleep the night before. He couldn't sleep. He's the most calm, relaxed person ever. Nothing phases him, and he was just a hot mess. I was like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I can't sleep. My stomach hurts. We're getting ready to, flyer. Like, what if something goes wrong? I do pretty well keeping my emotions in check, but I was freaking out inside. I was like, I just didn't want her to be like, either take off and, leave us, or just not do anything, because we're like, so there were a lot of variables. We just wanted her. It's kind of like a parent coaching their kid playing football. You're like, just do the best you can. Come on, do it.
I was more nervous then than I am fixing to jump out of a plane.
Ready to skydive?
Yes, sir.
Nadja, what are we doing today?
Skydiving.
On purpose?
Yes. I want to experience what my bird experiences when it's up in the air.
All right. Let's have a little bit of fun. Keep me safe out there. Be a good tequila. You're one of these. I'll see you on the plane, okay?
Thanks.
Oh, please be okay. Please be okay. Perfect.
amazing.
You're great. Carry the hawk.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you. That was awesome.
Look right here. Give me a nice solid. Give me one of these little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like this or like this.
I had way better gratitude on my first landing than I did her first flight.
And that was something we actually got to see on the Marshall GPS. It was when we reflected, it was we could see her movements and her elevation, and we could see exactly when she was going and she was trying to turn back towards us, but the wind shifted her, and that's how we could tell she was in a panic flight. So that was really neat. Could we learn what we learned with bird tricks in a book or a video? Absolutely not.
There's absolutely no way. I mean, that's the
There's
simplest
no-
way to put it, is absolutely no way.
Every bird is different, every situation is different, and like being in nursing school, like you get your general, you know, this is your disease, this is the general things, but everything is different, so you have to like critically think through all of
did
your
do the video.
scenarios.
We did the videos with y'all. I mean, we've watched a lot of y'all's videos, and I mean, we've learned a lot off of it, but we learned a lot more with the video consults and being out here with y'all. And I mean, I've learned, even though I thought I knew a lot, coming out here watching every individual other bird that we have and watching their different struggles, I learned a lot more like that as well.
It's just more hands-on. You know, you benefit a lot more with being there and seeing things and explaining it, you know, and just learning from it. And it wasn't just Ocean we learned from everyone else's birds, you know, if something happened, you know, or if they did something really great, we would ask, you know, either Dave or Jamie, like, hey, why are they doing that? You know, like, what's the deal? And we got explanations, and that's something you can't get from a video. That's something that you can't get from reading books or anything like that. You can't ask those like in the moment questions, and that to me was the biggest difference. And I mean, my biggest highlight for Ocean was, I mean, yes, coming back to us, but it was seeing her play in the wind, and it was things that I didn't really notice until like Jamie pointed it out, and she was like, did you see her, you know, go sideways? And I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, that was her playing. I'm like, what? So, and just her working through the wind, and we got really comfortable to where we could kind of do little challenges for her just to kind of see like if the wind could catch her and see what she would do. And that was, to me, that was a lot more of like watching her work through all of those different challenges. Thank you guys so much. Seriously. Oh my God, my emotions. I'm gonna go walk away now. Seriously, because I've never, like, this is something that I've never done. Honestly, like, Justin researched you guys a lot, and that was something that, you know, we sat and we talked about it a lot, and, you know, we just had a lot of other like things in our lives that we had priority, and we decided, you know what, let's make this a priority because she is young, and it's a lot easier to work with her and to mess up and to go through all of that stuff at the age that she is now. And I, like, you know, we struggled a lot. There were a lot of times where we fought. There were some videos where like, I'm not sending that video because we fought throughout the whole video. But this trip really made the whole thing worth it, everything worth it, because it's just, you know, I know you guys are always like, get so much publicity and all of that with your with all your students and your videos and stuff like that, but it's being here and in the moment and experiencing it, to me, was just like super surreal. And I said I wasn't gonna cry. I said if I was gonna cry, I was gonna cry when Ocean took her first flight, and I held it in, and now like all my emotions are all over the place. So I'm super happy that we did this. Like, I'm so happy for her, and I'm so happy for our future birds that, you know, we'll be able to give them this life, and we'll be able to like go to different places and, you know, take them with us and do all of that. I'm a huge vacationer, so
My bank account shows that.
and so it's just, you know, it's always like, okay, well, we want to go on vacation. Okay, well, who's going to watch our animals? I really appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea.
We just got Jamied out here.
You did get Jamied out here. That is getting Jamied.
It's a new
Getting
thing.
Jamie. Oh my gosh, that's another tagline. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna be sending you guys so many shirts. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Getting Jamie. Tiny hands.
Let's get this
I don't know.
started.
Tiny hands make everything look big.